One of the things that sets esports apart is that it's truly global. Still, pro players are more common in some places than others.
I love my country. I'm coming from the country that made me what I am today, so I want to give something back.
Nades rain in, here come the bodies as well. GuardiaN just put one down. Can he find a second? You better believe he can. Not another. Surely! GuardiaN, stop it! GuardiaN shuts down 4, and the dream is real as he melts all 5!
Ladislav GuardiaN Kovács managed to make his way into the elite of Counter-Strike's competitive community from a small European country mostly unknown in the scene. And he did it through his sheer dedication to the game.
Quickly falling apart here for Navi, getting a bit scary, but then GuardiaN has something to say about that. Takes out the kill on Apex, that was on Argent. Wow, what a shot onto RPK, gets the flick on the Maniac, and that's one!
But despite playing with some of the best players the game has ever seen, and holding his own as one of the most versatile and effective AWPers ever,
there's still more to go though. Calmay must pop the ball, the peaks come in, but GuardiaN will not stop. One more to go, and GuardiaN gets them!
there is still something GuardiaN has yet to do. Win a major.
There he is! The world's best sniper!
Born in 1991, GuardiaN grew up in Slovakia. At age 10, his brother's copy of Counter-Strike found its way into the home, and it was instantly something that GuardiaN understood.
In 2001, it was old 1.3 and the old Aztec map, and when my brother brought the CS home and I started playing the game 1 versus 10, the hardest bots, and I felt like I can shoot, I can do everything I want.
Over the next 8 years, GuardiaN would continue to play 1.6, but also tried Counter-Strike's Source. All the while, he was still living in Slovakia and playing with domestic teams there. It was during this time that GuardiaN picked up the AWP. And if it wasn't for the fact that he was playing in a smaller region, he may not have become an AWPer at all.
I became sniper just because our city didn't have a solid sniper that could actually help us. So that's the story behind it, and I'm happy it happened that way.
During this period, his first roster that competed at an international LAN was Reason Gaming, a combined Czech and Slovak roster. His first CS Source LAN event was LAN 79, a reoccurring French tournament, where some thought the team was cheating. But GuardiaN, just under a year into his time with the game, was still playing like it was 1.6.
Coming from 1.6, you just want to play the game the same way, like you want to wallbang and stuff like this. So
GuardiaN made the jump to CSGO after it became clear that the title would be embraced by the competitive community, even if their initial reception was less than cordial.
The other 3, like Lucky Ted, Zid, all 3 of them weren't really convinced that CSGO was going to be big, and I don't think all 3 of those players didn't like the game.
He still didn't love the game, and even considered switching away from the AWP given the changes to the weapon.
I hated the game completely. I don't know why I didn't like it. Too much of trash on the map, like chickens and other stuff. So,
despite eventually coming around to the game, GuardiaN spent his early career in Global Offensive playing on mostly regional teams, including the Czech-Slovakian mixed team MyDGB. Now working a job at Hewlett-Packard, GuardiaN had to find time for the game, even bringing his PC to work during a night shift so that he could play a qualifier for the first IEM Katowice tournament.
It was risky, but we had a team of 5 people, like a shift, and my guys were really nice and they knew I'm playing CS competitively. The shift captain told me that I'm allowed to, so they didn't tell anyone that I have done it.
GuardiaN's first big break outside his region would come with Virtus Pro in June 2013. At the time, VP was a Russian and Ukrainian mixed team, and GuardiaN didn't speak any Russian. He was forced to learn as he went, and credits Fox with helping him. A month after GuardiaN's addition, Angel and Doja left for Astana Dragons. GuardiaN was on the move again, but had made enough of an impact outside his home region to get noticed. He was chosen as the 10th best player of 2013 by HLTV.org. GuardiaN's opping style was versatile, focused around his ability to flick with the AWP, whether he was holding an angle defensively or peeking aggressively.
Oh, GuardiaN, perfect positioning.
So every time I have money to buy up, I buy the up, even if I have no armor.
Another hallmark of his play is his uncanny ability to clutch, even in terrible situations.
Takes down Get Right, 1v1. He's running the clock to the absolute limit. He gets it, GuardiaN.
After playing on a mixed team with Edward, who had also been part of Astana Dragons, GuardiaN was invited to join Natus. GuardiaN had spent a long time in his home region and had only a short-lived stint with VP, but Na'Vi would end up being his home for years to come. Also on the roster was Zeus, the team's in-game leader, renowned for his slow and methodical approach to the game.
They didn't see him. They didn't see him when he came through. He gets the spray down on all three.
That strategy gave GuardiaN plenty of time to find picks while the team played around him.
He was very good at reading opponents, and he had the balls to call tactic even 15 seconds left.
The team's major debut was at ESL Major Series 1 Katowice, but they finished 13th, 16th after a full month of boot camp. But an immediate opportunity to rebound presented itself. Fnatic had declined their spot in StarLadder Series 9 based on the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. But the tournament would be huge for the resurgence of the Na'Vi squad. They didn't drop a single map as the team defeated NIP twice and Titan. It was exactly the sort of win that the new roster needed. Suddenly, they were on the map, and GuardiaN's style broke into the mainstream.
It feels always kind of special because it was my first bigger event. I think back then it was like 100k or 150k. So yeah, it feels special, and still I feel like, you know, the CIS fans and everything like that, they stay behind me and cheer for me, so yeah.
In the run-up to the next 2014 major in Cologne, they looked like they could do real damage.
Open up though, Zeus with the CZ gets 2 kills. Big frags there, and Na'Vi, they're on the brink of turning it around in the second round of this first half.
But after getting out of groups as the second seed, they ran directly into Fnatic. That series featured furious action, but Na'Vi went out in a narrow 16-14 on Nuke.
Fnatic go through after a hard-fought battle, all 3 maps going to Nuke.
Although Na'Vi were firmly in the conversation as a contender, it was over 3 months until they got another shot at a Valve major.
I don't know, it was always close matchup, like even in Cologne we lost 2-1 to Fnatic in 16-14 last map, so we always missed something, so I hope it will be not this time and we will show better results.
Na'Vi were eliminated in the semi-finals by eventual winners LDLC.
It's the end, LDLC, they're in the grand finals of DreamHack Winter 2014. They beat Na'Vi in the semis.
The next few months were quiet for the team in terms of competition, until the next major in March 2015 at ESL 1 Katowice. After again working their way out of groups, the team fell to the same French players they did in Cologne, this time representing Team Envious.
I'm glad we got to see the Dust 2 that came out of Na'Vi was inspirational, and GuardiaN, such a key figure.
GuardiaN was the only member of Na'Vi to be positive overall for the series, and the team went out in the quarterfinals. They had shown some positive potential, but so far had only broken the top 4 at a major once. Outside of Valve majors, the team had only seen significant success at the most recent 3 StarLadder events and at DreamHack Summer. After the tournament, Starrick stepped down from the team to become a coach, analyst, and a manager. Flamey joined as a stand-in before becoming a permanent member. While GuardiaN had often been relied upon to take a starring role, Flamey added firepower to the team that gave him more room to work with. Despite their inconsistent results, GuardiaN was becoming a hallmark name, synonymous with excellence with the off.
Crazy idea. There's the shot, GuardiaN. It actually works.
He, along with French opera Kenny S, were the 2 names on the tip of everyone's tongue when asked about the game's best snipers. But the 2 had very different approaches to the game.
To go big, and Kenny's gonna go ahead, peek in a second minute, and he gets the flick on his Zipnix, lightning fast.
But there is no doubt he's always been like among the top best the top 3 best AWPers in the world, a bit like me.
The middle of 2015 again saw mixed results. Na'Vi took ESL Pro League 1 and Star Series 13 from both of France's best rosters, and won ESWC 2015, though some notable rosters were not attending.
And now it's all on Shroud here. 17 seconds and he goes for the fight. He goes down. And Na'Vi are going to win it 16-14.
France had its revenge at ESL 1 Cologne, the next Valve major. After the group stage, Na'Vi had to play against Envious in the quarterfinals. Kenny and GuardiaN facing off.
Is he going to try and go huge here? Kenny S on sight, straight in his face. Doesn't hit the no-scope. Doesn't hit the pistol. Oh, for the night! Kenny S! Would you believe it? The ball's on that man to go for that play and make it 5-3 Na'Vi.
And though the maps were close, they lost 2-0. It was another top 8 appearance for Na'Vi where they had not met their own expectations. Over the next few months, they managed top 4 appearances at a bevy of events, but didn't win any. Still, their consistency suggested Cluj-Napoca 2015, the upcoming Valve Major, might be their best chance yet to take it all.
GuardiaN covering from pit, and he hits the shot, of course. GuardiaN is going to get the frag that wins the map.
Even in the early stages of this tournament, Envy and Kenny were there to threaten Na'Vi. In the same group, Na'Vi lost their match against the French side, but still made it out of groups as the 2nd seed. The path to the grand finals was not easy. Luminosity Gaming, the best Brazilian team, were increasingly showing they were top-tier competitors, and Ninjas in Pajamas stood in the way in the semi-finals. But once they had fought all the way to the grand finals, it was Team Envious again standing in their way.
And this is just a legendary lineup against another legendary lineup, 2 legendary lineups going at it, and 2 legendary AWPers going at it. And today we'll see one of those AWPers who've never won a major before take the title.
Na'Vi's dominance on their map pick of Train was immediately challenged by Envy, and the French side took it 16-14, including a heartbreaking 1v2 by Happy.
He's there for the clutch, and it's going to be GuardiaN now, 1v2 to keep his team in this, to go for overtime. Headshot, and it's not going to happen. Kenny is there to lock it down.
Na'Vi now had to somehow win on Cobble, a map they, for all intents and purposes, didn't play. They couldn't push it to a 3rd map.
And there it is, consecutive down. Envy winning the last major of 2015 and the 2nd title in a row here for 3 of these players. The first for Kenny and Apex. What a victory.
A 16-5 stomp saw GuardiaN get the closest he had ever been to a championship, and then fall short.
Of course it hurts to lose a final like that, because next map was Cobble, and we never practiced Cobble before.
This was the major GuardiaN could have won.
It just, hurts how when you see how you lost the final. So, of course, if you are a professional player, you think about it and you have the memories from it. So, yeah.
As the numbers showed, he wasn't the problem. GuardiaN was plus 12 across both maps, better than any other player in the server besides Kenny. He was also selected as the tournament MVP.
To do this, GuardiaN taking down Happy, gonna go for the next shot. That's the bomb down.
As the dust settled from Cluj, the team had an incredible rebound performance at IEM San Jose, though the event was an invitational.
I'm speechless. This was the first time that we won like a team. We were playing as a team, and I think we did a great job.
The team was now consistently making finals, and a major win seemed possible.
Oh! You can't play peekaboo with GuardiaN, bro!
In just over 2 months in early 2016, the team raked in over $150,000 in prize money. At Counterpit League Season 2 Finals, GuardiaN destroyed the competition, posting unbelievable stats in the grand final against Astralis. So when MLG Major Championship Columbus rolled around, Na'Vi were again in the discussion as one of the favorites. But already the odds were stacked against GuardiaN.
I think injury was there for for a month before, before Counterpit. I mean, I never realized that it could be bad. Sometimes I had pain in the wrist, but I always thought it's some kind of exhaustion. Like I got exhausted in my arm or something. But I used to play a lot of CS back then. Like
The injury had been ongoing, but GuardiaN ignored the problem, thinking it was just normal wear and tear. Though the team managed to top their group and defeat NIP and Astralis without dropping a map, the injury had flared up by the Grand Finals series against Luminosity. GuardiaN, trying to compensate for his reduced range of movement in his wrist, cranked up the mouse sensitivity settings. But it wasn't enough.
Besides, Luminosity seem to still be hanging around, and that is sick.
And GuardiaN had one of the worst performances of his career in an event final.
Story of the tournament so far, you know, you've got GuardiaN, he hasn't shown up. Someone needs to get on the phone and ask where he is.
The major title, again, slipped away. In the aftermath, despite some early concerns, a doctor did eventually clear him to play at DreamHack Malmo, the next big event for the team.
Events, GuardiaN, his wrist, his mouse hand has been injured. He had an inflamed bone or something in his wrist, but apparently he's been cleared by the doctors. He's been cleared by the doctors to attend the event, but it is, you know, some strain. He's putting some strain on himself.
They took second. The next Valve major for Na'Vi was in Cologne, and barely 3 months from the previous one in Columbus. But instead of another finals appearance, they went out 5th, 8th, with a shocking loss to Team Liquid and their new talent, Simple.
Through an hour never to go. They play it perfectly again. Simple with one.
By August 2016, Na'Vi had decided to remove Zeus and add Simple, but the change worsened divisions in the team that had appeared earlier in the year.
I think after we kicked Zeus, I think the change of lineup didn't happen the way it should happen.
Though Simple was an incredible talent, there were questions about whether the change was what the team needed. While the space between the last two majors had been short, it would be nearly half a year before the next. In the interim, both Na'Vi and GuardiaN managed a career milestone, winning a big premier event with a $250,000 prize pool.
Flamey's on it, you called it! They're on the defuse! It's a championship inside smoke! Na'Vi!
At ESL 1 New York, Na'Vi went undefeated in the Swiss group, and then defeated Team Liquid and Virtus.pro in the bracket to take first. GuardiaN, overcome by emotion, refused to hide it.
I've been with you for a long time. We've known each other for over a dozen years. I know how much this means to you. Can you put it in words for your fans?
I can't. I'm just speechless. It feels so good.
the thing is, why I was super emotional was because I've been dedicated to CS 24/7. I chose CS over friends. I chose CS over family, over everything. And thinking about, like, I lost so many finals and then finally winning one, it changed a lot. Like, you think about it, like, finally the dedication showed that I can win tournaments like that. So
though it was a huge moment for GuardiaN and his team, it would be the last big win for the roster before his departure. The win hadn't healed the cracks in the foundation of the team. Na'Vi didn't make top 4 at either the E-League Major Atlanta 2017 or PGL Major Krakow. Their only placement of note in the first half of 2017 was at the Adrenaline Cyber League, a CIS region tournament where they placed second among 4 teams.
Jet lagged, tired, they still did it. I mean, impressive performance from VP. You've got to give it to them. Congratulations to the guys.
After Krakow, both the team and GuardiaN were faced with hard decisions about the future of the roster. Na'Vi had been a home for GuardiaN for 3.5 years. And during that time, he had clearly shown his skill as one of the world's best AWPers.
Want to get the flick anyway, taking down Skadoodle. Shroud gets one. GuardiaN with another kill. Automatic coming in from the other angle, looking for the shot. And GuardiaN, he's going to pick up 4 kills in the round.
But it was also clear that there were other opportunities elsewhere, and the internal divisions in the team weren't going to disappear.
yeah, Na'Vi gave me everything. When I came into the team, they gave me the kind of family. They asked me to, like, stay, but I had some issues that I couldn't accept, and they chose someone else over me. So
GuardiaN's next team shocked the CS community. In August of 2017, he joined FaZe Clan, and the team acquired Olaf Meister shortly thereafter. They joined Rain, Kerrigan, and Nico to form a multinational roster that wasn't hard to call a super team.
Did you ever see yourself playing on the same team with Olaf Meister on top of with Nico and now with Rain all on one team? Did you ever imagine that would happen?
No, to be honest, that's something I have never imagined.
The consistency shown by this roster far outstripped the Na'Vi squad he had left. Though their debut at DreamHack Masters Malmo 2017 was a disappointment, they didn't let that get to them. Instead, they doubled down on hard work, something that GuardiaN was very familiar with.
Finds JDM, it's twist together, has to step up, he can't do it this time alone, and GuardiaN secures championship point for FaZe.
And the first major with FaZe saw GuardiaN reach yet another grand final.
So the event was Nest likely, I should say. What a shot from GuardiaN, words out of my mouth as he nails it through the box. He is tagged up, smoke on the bomb immediately, he's got the kit. Doesn't like to hold on to it yet. He's got time to play with! And 2 for 2, smoke will do! It's FaZe to the final, and GuardiaN is an absolute god!
At Boston, it was GuardiaN dominating in the grand final series against Cloud9.
He's got higher health, but it's not perfect. Down he goes, it's GuardiaN. He's the only man standing between Cloud9 and the major. It's going to be a double peak. There's the first one. We go to overtime number 2. Cloud9 don't do it. They're still in this major, FaZe Clan.
He was the only player positive on his team in the final. The action was maybe the greatest of any major final.
Down. There's got to be a rotation. Tarek creeping through the smoke, but it's 2. GuardiaN buy one, get one free, and that keeps FaZe Clan in this round.
But again, it wasn't GuardiaN's major to win.
GuardiaN waits patiently as Cloud9 sets the push up. Oh, it's happened! They made it work! Cloud9 are your E-League Major champions!
The team's dedication to being the best means that GuardiaN believes that FaZe will be the last team he plays with before he retires.
Sooner or later, I think it will come, and FaZe Clan will be the last team.
He's already shown that he is very much in form, and FaZe remains a very real threat.
Save the AWP, good flashbang, could get a couple more out of this one, and Fnatic are starting to crumble, what's going on?
He will have other chances to win majors, surely. But what if he doesn't?
Well, if I don't win one before I retire from competitive CS, then I think it will be very sad. Having individual achievements like being the best player in the world is something that is least important in your career, because this is a team game and you don't care if you're the best or not the best, but you care about team winnings.
Still, whether or not he wins a major, GuardiaN has been part of many of the greatest moments in CSGO and created plenty of his own.
Ooh.
From a small competitive region to the biggest stages in Counter-Strike history, GuardiaN's path to excellence was forged by sheer perseverance and some of the greatest opping the game has ever seen.
Knows exactly where to look! Oh! He's got all 5! There he is! The world's best sniper!
Thanks for watching. If you want more great content just like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button.